Often fathers want to know, well, what's labor like? If you haven't been at a birth and this is your first birth, you're just sort of wondering, how intense can it be? Have you ever been kneed? That's intense. Labor can be incredibly intense. That's why women suffered in childbirth. It wasn't that there was a problem, it's they didn't cope. They had no control over labor contractions. And if labor went on for hours and hours and hours and days, which it can, because the baby is having difficulty moving through that container, then women suffer. And women don't like pain. You don't like pain. And it comes and goes. So there's times where we may not have any pain. But if we have back labor, it's nagging all the time. And that's just because that big object is pushing from the inside. The bony pelvis and the nerves that go down the spine are being agitated. And remember, don't compress the space. So don't press on the sacrum. Instead, go to the body skills that you've learned, which is the sacral maneuver. Open it up. Create space, mobility in the pelvis. And for guys, this makes sense. For women, not always so much. Women are not as attuned to their bodies as men think we are. We live in them. You'd think we'd know them, but we don't. So what happens when labor is progressive and the contractions get longer, stronger, and closer together? Women don't know when it's going to be over, and they begin to fear the next contraction. This is natural. You have no control over it. The only thing you can control is your response to it. So in this lesson, you're going to learn that response. You're going to learn how to stay in the now. You're going to be able to do that. And women, you're going to learn what happens when we have a negative voice. I birth very well. I hate it. I mean, God, it is just so intense. And as a contraction comes, I just find myself going, F, 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 F. This is the only thing that can get it out of my head. It doesn't come out of my mouth. It just is, yeah. With skills, you just separate. I'm going to use these skills. I'm going to let this negative voice just rabbit on. And it does rabbit on. And sometimes the positive voice will say, you did very well. The other voice goes, hated it. It's okay if you hate it, right? So what you want to do is to learn to work with pain. So in this lesson are several PDFs that will help you do that. It's important that you as a birth coach understand that your job is to see and hear right away whether the woman is coping or not and helping her stay in that middle space. If a woman starts to get out of control, if she can't bring herself back, she will continue to get more and more out of control, and that's the suffering. If you hear and see it right away and can model good breathing, can help her calm down, and she's responsive to you, and women be responsive, then she will get back into that space where she can keep going. She does not have to like this. You do not have to say to her, you're doing a good job. She doesn't feel she's doing a good job. Some women absolutely love labor. They honestly do. And tiny percent of women have absolutely no pain. This is not true for most of us. How would we rate pain in labor? Over the top. That's all we can say. So learn to stay in the now. Learn to accept your negative voice and work with it anyway. See ya.